What's up, everybody? Yeah, we about to talk about it today. It's a lot to talk about it. It's a lot to talk about. It's a lot to talk about. I welcome everybody. I miss y'all. I ain't been with y'all since Friday. I ain't been with y'all since Friday. You know, it's Friday. You ain't got no job. Ooh, that's too bright. That's too bright. Too high for all that. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Much lower. There we go. That's better. Yeah. I ain't been with y'all since Friday. I meant to come to y'all Saturday, but Saturday I was having internet technical issues on Patreon, so I didn't want to mess with it. Let me know. If everything's okay. I should be all right. Then I was gonna come with y'all yesterday, and man, let me tell y'all a story real quick before I get started. I did a comedy show. I did my Patreon yesterday morning, and then I did a comedy show at a weed lounge. Every now and again, I get invited to this weed lounge. They pay me pretty good to come on out and crack some jokes. And it's this is LA, so it's weed lounges all over this place. So I go to crack jokes at this weed lounge, and I get paid cash, and I get paid in weed and edibles. And I generally don't do edibles. I like to smoke flower. I don't really do edibles because you can't control edibles. I had a really bad experience about 10 years ago when Larry will tell you the story. I was about 2013, 14, 13 was the last time I did edibles. Because I had an edible, and I ended up the world turned upside down. All I remember is Larry laughing at me and the room spinning. It was like them old Batman cart shows when the room be spinning, and all I see is Larry laughing, but Larry turning upside down, and Larry looked at me. He's like, nigga, you look like you about to die. That's the last thing I remember. Larry saying, he said, you look like you about to die. And he started laughing, nigga. I just remember passing out after that. And I ain't did edibles since. Really like that. Well, I did them the other day, man. Yesterday. And it was almost the same thing, dog. I tell y'all. Somebody made some lemon cake. And I just scarfed it. I'm an OG. I just scarfed the shit. And then after I scarfed it, the shit said this is 1,000 milligrams. I said 1,000 milligrams? Hold on, that's a whole gram. Mind you, I had just finished performing at this weed spot, so I had like 2 or 3 blunts. Then I ate 1,000 milligram edible. And Lord, I went to bed last night about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I woke up at about 10. I went and took a nap at 12. Woke up at 3. And I took another nap at 5. And then I was like, let me get on up and do it live. It was 1,000, dog. What up, G Kenny? Oh, Larry, you in here? Hey, Larry, you still fucked up for that. That's all I remember. Larry looked. He was laughing so hard because I was just. Man, we was watching basketball. The game was going too fast, and Larry's like, "Nigga, you like you about to die," and he laughed so goddamn hard, and I just remember blanking out after that. Hey, Larry, you ain't shit, man. Fuck you. Yeah, I was done, man. I wrote my beautiful article on R&B, and I didn't really get to promote it like I wanted to. Oh my god. Well, anyway, welcome chat room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm all good now. I'm all good. I'm all good. Like the high just kind of fell off after that last nap. So when I woke up from that last nap at about 7, I'm back to my normal mind now. I'm back to my normal mind. I'm back to my normal mind. Oh yeah, if you want this shirt, I made it myself. It's on DwannB.com. This Asia shirt, it's on DwannB.com. You see here, got death certificate, the same shirt. Asia. Got Sir Nose devoid of funk. My Black American Music Family Tree. Got the Asia shirt. Got some Earth and Fire albums up on there. Yeah. You go at DwannB.com. Also, go to incenseandashtrays.com. Hey, look, y'all can do me a big favor by reading this article and sharing it. I really wish I had a comment section at the bottom. I really should have a comment section at the bottom. Ain't no comment section? I gotta add a comment section at the bottom. But please go to Incense and Ashtrays. It took me about a month to write this, and it's gonna go deeper in my book. But it's a 30-minute read. It took me about a month to get this right. And what I did was I did it on the roots of R&B, the R&B roots of rock, pop, and hip hop. How rhythm and blues changed the sound of the world. This is a very comprehensive article on the depth of rhythm and blues. And mind you, it's only an overview. On my Substack, if you join my Substack, each section that you see right here, I have 5 parts. Each part one is up on Substack. I'm about to put part 2 up on Substack later this week. Each part goes way deeper on Substack. But this is the real roots of rhythm and blues and pop. And this is going to play exactly into what we're talking about today. When it comes to, it felt really good seeing these Gen Zers talk about old school R&B and how current R&B really ain't hitting. And so we're gonna go over that video and discuss. But yeah, in this, I break down. And on Patreon we going even deeper. On Patreon Music University is going even deeper. And tomorrow Patreon we're gonna start breaking down this book Weird Scenes in the Canyon tomorrow night on Patreon. Tomorrow on Patreon we're gonna start breaking this book down. But yeah, you see here, Black. If when you read the article, you click on the links. I have links to prove everything that I'm saying. So when we're talking about this, what Rhythm and Blues did, we have links. I love this song by Richard Smallwood. People don't understand what Richard Smallwood did in fusing gospel with classical music. He's like so I have him as a link as far as when I'm talking about church as a musical. That's why I have him as the link for church as the Black American Musical Conservatory. You can learn it all in church. I'm talking about gospel groups like the Five Blind Boys in Mississippi. And going in and talking about how all of that plays into rhythm and blues. When I go in talking about how rhythm and blues is the root for Jamaican music and for Jamaican reggae. I have clips.
Start imitating the rhythm and blues.
So when I talk about rhythm and blues being a knockoff, reggae being a copy of rhythm and blues, I literally have a link here where you can click and hear the people say it themselves. So this is for those of you who really care to really understand how R&B is the root for all of this shit. Because while people are out there trying to take our music history, we got to understand that our music is other people's roots, not the other way around. Other groups, other islands, other parts of the world, other continents, they've taken our sound and they've replaced their native instruments with our native instruments. So everything in here, I'm giving you an example.
Who more than
I'm giving you an example and all throughout this. So make sure it's a 30-minute read. So I want y'all to go all the way through it. All right. Kool Herc, the Christopher Columbus of hip hop. It's a 30-minute read, so take y'all time to read that, all right? Take y'all time to read that. All right? But yeah, we here we go. So then where we gonna start? Where we gonna start first? Where we gonna start? Let's do Doggy Diamonds. This is where we gonna start. Let's start with this part right. Let's start with this NBA part. Then we gonna go into R&B. It's been a lot going on lately. They're talking about like why a lot of athletes have been going broke. I want y'all to listen to what Antoine Walker said. Y'all know on this very show here, I've said it. I've always talked about on this very, very, very show here that the shiny suit era of hip hop was probably more dangerous than the gangster rap era. Only a handful of people ever go to jail. Most black people don't commit crimes. 99% of black people are never going to go to jail. Gangster rap was definitely not a good thing. I agree with that. But I always say the shiny suit era was worse because the shiny suit era got people spending money that they didn't have. And the shiny suit era of hip hop came out at a time houses in the hood was cheap. The shiny suit era came out at a time people could have really bought, like really got together and pulled resources and bought the hood. But instead of buying the hood, the music had us buying all kind of nigga trinkets. And listen to Antoine Walker because he now of course Antoine Walker can't blame it all on hip hop, but listen to what Antoine Walker says about the shiny suit era during the time that he had his money. Listen to this.
It's a cultural thing. I only can speak for myself. When I came out, I was
shit, this
Jay-Z.
is low. This audio is shitty.
Puffy, all the rappers, what they did is...
Let me see here. What show is this?
Hip hop is now the worst thing, which
Fuck
is
what I wanted to do.
We're just gonna go with it, y'all. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna shut up so you guys can turn your audio up. Turn your audio up. I'm gonna shut up, and then we're just gonna react to after everything because this audio is low. Just turn y'all mic y'all audio up, and then we're gonna do a reaction afterwards. Turn your audio up in 5, 4, 3, 2. Turn it up.
It's a cultural thing. I only can speak for myself. When I came out, I was Jay-Z, Puffy, all the rappers. What they did is what I wanted to do. When you see them with the big jewelry, the chains, and the nice cars, you see the videos. Just when videos was hot when I came out. So I'm looking at all this stuff. That's like, man, when I get it, I'm doing that. So when I came in, where I spent a lot of money, I had fetishes. I had a car fetish. I had 8, 10 cars at one time. No 310 motoring was hot. So I ain't just get the car.
You tricked him out. 310.
I freaked it out. I'm gonna put 30, 40 in it. Ain't no just get the car. I had a watch fetish. When I came out, Jacob the jeweler was the man. Everybody shot with Jacob.
Yeah.
I used to be with Jacob. I used to get all the new watches. I had 15, 20 watches at one time. Can't wear them all. And then when I came into the league, it was a dress code. So I used to get the custom suits. 15, 2,000 a suit. It was mandatory on the plane and to the game. So that was a real expense. Allen Iverson changed that culture, but we had a dress code when I came in, not how you see guys dressed now.
How much money did you make?
Probably over my career,
Yeah.
probably like 108 million, over 108 million dollars in total contracts that I made. But you also, and I always try to tell young guys this, 55 million that went to taxes.
So that was Antoine Walker, for those who don't remember. And it's crazy because I remember him. I was out, when he was in the league, that's when I was out in the streets. Well, he came around in my high school years, but when my early years, he was still out. And I've heard a lot of players have been talking about, the taxes and things. And the league does do things to make sure that players spend the money as much as possible. But I remember Antoine Walker also had a gambling problem. He had actually gotten held up in Chicago. He had gotten held up and tied down over a gambling debt. Who remembers that? And y'all remember when Jim Jones dropped his song Ballin'? Who remembers them years when Jim Jones and Ballin' was hot? I'll never forget, I was at the Garden of Eden when that song was hot. If you was in LA in the mid-2000s, you remember the Garden of Eden Sunday nights on La Brea and Hollywood Boulevard, right there in front of where Earth, Wind & Fire's star is on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. right there at the Garden of Eden. I remember when Jim Jones Ballin' came out. I remember seeing Antoine Walker. They had like a downstairs VIP and they had like a little upstairs. I remember they were like in the upstairs the VIP, right overlooking the DJ booth. And I remember walking by that table, and when I looked and saw the amount of bottles on that table, I counted no less than 60 grand on that table. No less than 60 grand in bottles. Cause they was having they had like 5 Patron Magnums, 4 or 5 Grey Goose Magnums. And at the time the Magnums of Goose was like, I think there was like 3 grand, 2,500, like 3 grand each. They had the Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades, this is like going back to Jay-Z. This is when Jay-Z's Ace of Spades was like everywhere. I think it was Ace of Spades, but the champagne. And those bottles was like 4 or 5 grand each. I remember seeing 60 grand on that table, not including tax and tip. And this was a artist like, that's your boy Jim Jones. I was wondering if he was in here. And that was a thing back then. And I remember them. Part of the reason why I drew my conclusion on the Shiny Suit era, and I talk about it like that, is because I was in the streets at that time, and I remember the amounts of money that was being spent in the club. See, Gen Z's not in the club like that, and I got to give Gen Z credit for that. Gen Z, they out there, they not really clubbing like we was clubbing. I come from the bottle service era, man, and that all that Wayne era, the J era, the Bad Boy era, the amount of money that was being spent in the club was ridiculous. And I remember Jay was, when I be around All Star Weekend, Jay was everywhere. Like Jay-Z in the 2000s was easily the hottest rap nigga in the NBA circle. And then Wayne started to come around. And then right around when when Drake started to come up, that's when I started, Drake's come up was like my last 2 or 3 years in the streets. And plus I remember how soft them Drake niggas was. It was real weird. But the Jay era, I remember going to the LeBron and Jay party at LeBron and Jay-Z used to throw a party All-Star Weekend. I went to the one that they threw in Phoenix. And I just remember the connection between the players and the music and the amount of money that was being spent on them tables and in the music. We buying bottles, everything. We pop champagne because we got that dough. Let me see you say everything. We don't buy no drinks at the bar. We pop champagne because we got that dough. Who was that? I forgot who that was, chat. DJ G Kenny, you in here, so I know you know that is. We don't buy no drinks at the bar. I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank to the name of that song. Let me hear you say That shit was everywhere. But it goes to show you Trey Songz, yeah. Yeah, Trey. It's funny, I remember when Trey Songz first came out, it was at Club Basque on Vine and Sunset. That Basque burned down in the fire. But I remember Trey Songz I remember when that song was, before we knew who he was. He performed at Club Basque. I remember being there that night. I was like, who is this dude? I remember like, who the fuck is Trey Songz? I was just in the club that night. I got in for free. I was just there that night. People were like, oh, Trey Songz is gonna be here. I was like, who the fuck is Trey Songz? I remember that. Yeah. And one thing that they do is they get the players, real talk, C Diggs, they put the players in an environment. It's like anything else at your job. Most people want to fit in. You'll get the outlier. It's the outliers are the ones that are like, you know what, I'm over here with it. But most people want to fit in at work. And in the NBA locker room, you'll have a guy sitting over here that's getting a $1 million deal sitting next to somebody else getting paid $20 million a season. Do you understand that the guy getting paid $1 million a season is competing? The guy who's getting, and Larry saw this up. Larry tell you, he saw this shit up front. The guy getting paid $1 million a season. The women all in the locker room, they all have like a competition going on between all of the wives of the basketball players and girlfriends. And the girl making $1 million a year, she's balling over all of her friends, but she's competing with the woman whose husband is making $20 million a year. And you will see them compete with handbags, and you see the dude making $1.5 million a year trying to buy his wife a purse or his girlfriend a purse to keep up with the wife of the guy that's making $15 million a year. Not understanding that the guy making $20 million a year, your whole salary for the year is just one of this guy's paychecks. It's all kinds of crazy dynamics going on. It's all kind of crazy dynamics going on, but that's why it's best to know yourself. But let's move on. I don't want to spend too long on that topic. This is what I want to get to right here. Well, no, not that. I want to get to that one last. Right here. Listen to what the dream said. No, I'm yeah, I'm gonna stay here. Since I'm here, I'm gonna stay here. Listen to what the dream had to say about hip hop didn't help R&B the same way R&B helped hip hop. This is something that I talked about the other day on this very show. One of y'all tagged me in this. Salute the person that tagged me in this. But remember, I talked about this just last week. Listen to what he had to say.
The greatest thing about hip hop is now the worst thing, which is it doesn't lend itself to anybody. Like it doesn't. Hip hop doesn't help R&B like R&B help hip hop.
You don't think R&B received any of the benefits?
No, everybody forgot what happened and how hip hop came to be. Even if you start with James Brown, most hip hop start with break beats. Like those are all James Brown bands. Like those loops, that's where they came from.
Yeah.
There was no rappers in the '70s like that didn't happen. That generated this thing for rap as a canvas to play on. And when the role reversal of that thing is we didn't receive any other benefits of that, which is why R&B is in the space now.
Right.
But easily from anything, from publications to radio stations, and everybody's dismissed the idea of what R&B actually means. That discovery thing is missing because the people at the forefront to educate people about where it came from or where it derived from is missing. It's like America not knowing the history of America.
I mean, what would you say to the idea that like a lot of modern R&B seems to like be very rap influenced?
That's why. Because they're literally trying to replicate something that they feel like is working or something that's more accepted versus just doing what we normally do. The greatest thing about
Chat room. Who's the person online who's been saying this for how long? What's up, Define God Alive? What's up, Go Gadget? C Diggs? Everybody in here. Chat room. Have you heard anybody outside of me saying that? I'm glad the Dream is saying that, real artist. Who else online has been saying that? Or am I the only person you've heard say that online? I'll be looking. You got a lot of these content creators that say they talk music, but are they really? I'm so glad he said that. I'm so glad he said that. hip hop has done nothing but take. That's why I have such an issue with people in hip hop and the genre overall, how it's turned out. Hip hop has been a leech in a lot of ways. I'm so glad a legendary artist is saying it's starting, the word is starting to get out there, and we're having the artists speak up. Because the only way this lie is going to get fixed is if the artists speak up. You got all these hip hop artists that have done nothing but steal from R&B, turn around and say Kool Herc created hip hop. Think about that shit, y'all. Think about that. Think about how selfish hip hop is. Everything Pete Rock takes is from R&B. Everything hip hop takes is from rhythm and blues. Everything. And then they'll turn around and give Kool Herc the credit. Y'all have to read this article right here that I wrote on rhythm and blues. It's crazy, I guess, divine timing that this article comes out, because a lot of people have been talking about this. The musical language that it speaks. Look what I wrote here. Popular culture frequently presents Kool Herc as the founder of hip hop, in much the same way generations of Americans were taught Christopher Columbus discovered America. Both stories begin after the history is already underway. By the time Herc began throwing parties in the Bronx, the sound system had already existed, the extended vamp already existed, rhythmic talking over music already existed. Cab Calloway and Louis Jordan had already laid the foundation for rhythmic vocal performance. The break had already been cultivated in Black American music, not by DJs, but by live bands that stretched / vamped the most energetic sessions of a song to keep dancers moving and audiences engaged. James Brown elevated the practice to its highest form, with his band turning the break into the centerpiece of modern funk. James Brown literally made the break beat the song. It hadn't been done that before that. Those records would later become primary source material for hip-hop DJs, while James Brown's groove inspired the very dance culture that became b-boying. Listen to the music. This is how comprehensive my article is. After I laid that down for you, I got a song for you right here.
Hey, Bobby.
All you gotta do is click on the links to listen to what I'm telling you. All you gotta do is click the links. I even say right here, we're Kool Herc.
You know, the cheat code was James Brown.
Well, that's my man.
Yeah.
That's the father.
Like Sex Machine.
That's the father.
Sex Machine.
The brother.
You see that? When I made the point about James Brown, I got the link where Kool Herc said it himself. Salute to the dream. Hip hop, rhythm and blues is the parent genre for all pop music, period. Latin pop, K-pop, J-pop, dance music, world beat, house, techno, hip hop, UK skiffle, reggae, dancehall. All that shit's rooted in rhythm and blues. All of it. All of it. And when I go talking about it here in this article, the thing that roots it and put it, even rock and roll, people don't understand that rock and roll is the first child of rhythm and blues. Rock and roll is a child of rhythm and blues. Most people be thinking, okay, rhythm and blues, rock and roll, off different things. No. Because it was rhythm and blues that got us that got us the backbeat. It was rhythm and blues. It was rhythm and blues that gave us the backbeat, the groove. And it's that backbeat that everybody else plays off of. It's the rhythm. That rhythm, that 2/4 backbeat, that all comes in through rhythm and blues. It was first based on a swing, then it was based into a shuffle, and then from the shuffle to the eighth note backbeat. And the eighth note backbeat is where hip hop gets its groove and hip hop gets its pocket. Let's listen to the part of this one more time.
Hip hop is now the worst thing, which is it doesn't lend itself to anybody. Like it doesn't. Hip hop doesn't help R&B like R&B help hip hop.
Do you think R&B received any of the benefits?
No, everybody forgot what happened and how hip hop came to be. Even if you start with James Brown, most hip hop start with break beats. Like those are all James Brown bands. Like those loops, that's where they came from.
Yeah.
There was no rappers in the '70s like that didn't happen. That generated this thing for rap as a canvas to play on. And when the role reversal of that thing is we didn't receive any other benefits of that, which is why R&B is in the space now.
Right.
Go back even further when he says that. Who remembers back in the 90s and the 80s, almost every rhythm and blues had a rap section? Who remembers that? Y'all had Bobby Brown rapping. Y'all had Shanice rapping, I like your smile. And then she started rapping. You had Today rapping. Chucky Booker rapping. Man, remember this shit? You had her singing. Where's that rap breakdown? That rap breakdown was terrible. Where? No, that wasn't it. I'm looking for the rap breakdown. Oh, that's not it. I can't play no more because I'll get a strike. But Shanice has a beautiful singing voice, and they had her break this shit down into one of the worst raps you'll ever hear in your goddamn life. The 80s and the 90s was full of terrible ass raps from R&B singers. Bobby Brown rap, terrible. Hell, even Cameo was strange. Y'all remember Strange? She's strange. And I like it. Y'all remember the rap breakdown? Where'd it go?
And I don't compare to many, but next to her I'm plain ordinary. Not many can see the light blue aura that surrounds the girl wherever.
Larry Blackman, don't ever rap again. I love that song Strange, but that rapping part right there used to piss me the hell off. They had Cameo rapping. I mean, you was gonna rap in the 80s and the 90s. It was gonna be a rap, whether a rap fit in the song or not. It's like rap music was on the rhythm and blues umbilical cord for about 20, 25 years. If hip hop came out in 73, let's take their number, 1973. You still had them, rhythm and blues was still king in 96, 95. 95, 96, R&B is still king. And you know, because it was the groundbreaking move was having ODB on Mariah Carey's song, Me and Mariah, go back like babies and pacifiers. It took about 20 years of hip-hop being on R&B's umbilical cord for hip-hop to have a life of its own. Yeah, Larry, them niggas sounded sorry, boy. Man, you have rap messing up so yeah. Tina Marie actually had a cool little flow though on Square Biz. She actually had a cool little flow, but still it was terrible. You had Bobby Brown rapping. Find out about Vigo, the Master Eagle. Want to say, my boys, that's not lethal. Oh, you know it. Oh my own. Well, I guess we're gonna have to take control. Like, come on, dog. That shit sucked. Oh yeah, R. Kelly used to rap. R. Kelly was rapping with Public Announcement. Usher was rapping when he first started. Yeah, I'll Be Sure. You had Christopher Williams raps in the middle of his song. Like, what the fuck? Where did this rap? He said Tim Reed better than Eminem. I agree. Yeah, Ralph Tresvant was rapping. You need a man with sensitivity. Remember? This nigga Ralph Tresvant is talking about you need a man with sensitivity. A man like me. Then the nigga start rapping. What the fuck? That shit used to be horrible. That shit was horrible.
Hit the outs button. Now.
Where's the rap part?
Now.
What version is that? That's not the right version.
Jim, hit the outs button. Now.
Where's the rap part? Where's the rap part? Where's the rap part of this song? What the rap part? You need a man with sensitivity. Here it is.
Cares and dares to give himself completely. You got it in me. You need a man with sensitivity. Cause I'm not the one to give you run around.
Man, that shit was fucking horrible. That shit was terrible. Salute to Ralph Tresvant. But 90s rap breakdowns were ass pitiful. So he's 100% right. Yeah, that was a remix. Terrible, y'all.
But easily from anything, from publications to radio stations, and everybody's dismissed the idea of what R&B actually means. That discovery thing is missing because the people in the forefront to educate people about where it came from or where it derived from is missing. It's like America not knowing the history of America.
I mean, what would you say to the idea that like a lot of modern R&B seems to like be very rap influenced?
That's why. Because they're literally trying to replicate something that they feel like is working or something that's more accepted versus just doing what we normally do.
Yep. Rap, hip, and now rap is nothing rap can do now. I don't think there's anything hip hop can do because hip hop has fallen off. The new generation's not really messing with it. And I think hip hop is too far gone. It's too far caught up in its ego. It's too far talking about, well, is it Bronx culture? Is it this culture, that culture? Hip hop is way too caught up in its own way to do anything to help. It's basically gone a long way and to help kill off R&B. and when it was at its strength, it didn't do anything to elevate and lift R&B. So now, because I've already said it before, hip hop came, and like when the industry decided to invest in R&B and hip hop at the expense of R&B in the late '90s into the 2000s, that basically was real rhythm and blues' death certificate. So now rhythm and blues has gotten down to a point to where it's a shell of itself. And this is something I saw Gen Z on TikTok. Well, they're on TikTok, but on my IG, I saw this compilation of videos where Gen Z is basically clowning that, like they're talking about what's really wrong with R&B. And I thought that this is very interesting. Listen to what they had to say.
R&B bullshit needs to go the fuck away. Retire that shit. Bring back the real vocalists. Bring back the women and men with powerful fucking voices.
How long I've been saying
like
that?
2 weeks ago, I made a video saying that the reason why R&B is down right now is because you can tell that these motherfuckers didn't grow up in the church singing. Voices be sounding weak as fuck. And shout out to Abdul. He made good content. He touched on this. Janaea Koo do that shit. Summer Walker do that shit. That trash ass motherfucker Brent Faiyaz do that bullshit. Party Next Door does that bullshit. Like, that shit is just so weak. Like, oh my God. And yeah, amongst them, they got a few good songs that I might hum to. It don't feel like there's no passion in that shit. Like, god damn, man. Put your heart into this shit, man. That talk singing R&B bullshit.
I figured it out, y'all. Figured out the problem with today's R&B. The boys are no longer giving us low and sultry intros and any nay-hoos.
I can't play the music.
The problem with modern R&B is y'all don't put the aura and the B in there no more. Y'all don't fucking do the shit no more. Y'all don't put no soul in the motherfucker. You don't do shit. You don't do shit. That's the motherfucking problem. We got all these motherfucking R&B songs, but they basically rap. Let's be real. They own rap beats. Actually, fuck that. They fucking rap songs, but the people is singing. That's what the hell it is. It sounds like trap music all the way through. It's on the trap beat, but somebody is sing rapping the whole fucking time, kinda. And that's supposed to be the R&B song. The problem with modern R&B is
the reason why R&B don't hit the same no more is because y'all made simping unpopular. Because I'm sorry, the simps knew how to put that emotion in the song. They sang the fuck out of a song. Y'all don't even want to sing in the rain no more. I mean, really, fuck the rain. Y'all don't want to sing in a thunderstorm no more. Like, that should have been a telltale sign right there. And don't get me wrong, R&B right now is fire. With that being said, everybody just want to be a gangster. I don't know. Like, we can't all be hard. The men not begging for it no more. They just said, I'm gonna fuck all these bitches and y'all gonna deal with it. Mind you, we're talking about R&B. This is not rap, it's R&B. And then women, they not crying over the peen no more. They just said they're gonna go to the next one. And they gonna rob you while they at it. Like everybody's just so hard. Like, I'm sorry, like, can y'all beg for it a little bit? Can we go back to that just a tad? Can I get some tears? Like, I need something. Cry, grovel, bring that back. I promise you, R&B gonna feel a little bit more authentic when y'all just bring that back. And another thing, the reason why R&B don't hit the same no more is because y'all made simping unpopular.
And people be like, man, what happened to R&B music? What happened to R&B music? I'm gonna tell you what happened to R&B music. Niggas stop singing to the women and start singing to the niggas about the women.
Real talk. Y'all like this song, but I saw the bullshit when it came out. These hoes ain't loyal. I'll never forget when that song dropped. These hoes ain't loyal. And niggas was, hey, I'm like, first off, hoes aren't supposed to be loyal. Nigga, they hoes. Second off, I was like, what kind of baby boy bimbo bullshit is this song? I know it was catchy. It was very catchy. It still is catchy. These hoes ain't loyal, and I'm not mad at Chris Brown because it makes a lot of money. I'm mad at motherfuckers who's really bumping that shit. Like, and then that song came out before I got married. I was just like, they hoes. I come from an age where you never expect a hoe to be loyal. And you never call a woman that you want to settle down with a hoe. Chat room pressing up in my bullshitting. Hoes ain't supposed to be loyal. And you ain't supposed to be some cake ass nigga that's going for hoes. Kanye West is what made marrying a hoe a thing. I remember when Kanye West, who remembers when Kanye first got with Kim Kardashian? Niggas was like, you don't marry the hoe, you fool. You making the hoe the housewife. What the fuck is wrong with you, Kanye? That's when we knew something was wrong with this nigga. Nowadays, you got people marrying the hoes and then crying that the hoes ain't loyal. That's when this bullshit really, really started. The men singing to the men about women. These hoes ain't loyal.
Think about what I said now. Niggas stopped singing directly to the women and started singing to their homeboys about the women. Man, baby, I'm ready to give you all of my love. That man talking to that woman. Can we talk for a minute? That man talking to that woman. Man, it used to be a time where if you ain't had a words to say, like if you going through something in your relationship and you ain't had a words to say, you could just put this record on and they gonna talk directly to your woman. And people be like, man, what happened to R&B music? What happened to
the new R&B albums that have been coming out have been like complete trash because I feel like there's so much going on. There's too many harmonies and it's too much of the same beat. Y'all trying to find the same exact snare and hi-hat. Like it's just too much. I think the term less is more is
trap. That's the thing. A lot of this new R&B is using them trap hi-hats and trap beats. A trap hi-hat has absolutely no space in rhythm and blues. Tick, 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 30-second note, tick, 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 tick. Machine gun hi-hats and thin snare. All right, I know when I play, like, just say if I'm playing like a love song. If you're playing like a love song, you oftentimes, you can't even use a piccolo snare as a drummer. Love songs is going to be at least a 4-inch snare, but usually a 6.5-inch, a deep dish. You want your snares to have a deep body to them when you're playing a certain R&B songs. You got to have a thickness to it.
very important when making music because it could sound like too much sometimes and then it destroys the entire idea.
Real talk. Like a good example is, like, can you imagine this song with trap hats, with trap drums by Jill Scott? That's a deep snare. He's not even popping it. He's hitting his center. He's hitting his stick center head. Those are 16 notes on a hi-hat, but that's an actual hi-hat. And it's given a groove and a texture. But if you put a trap drum to that song would never work with trap drums. That song right there would never work with trap drums. It would never work.
some more fling. I said farewell. You took it well. Promise.
That's that Travis Scott and SZA. You hear that? It's just thin. It doesn't. Y'all hear that? This is what they mean by those same drums. This is what they mean by those same drums.
Won't cry over spilled milk. Give me a
You take that texture and put it next to something like this. So that's what they mean by less is more. Those busy trap drums can't give you this depth. When you're playing a love song, here's the thing. The reason why what he's saying is so important. Every part in the song, every piece, every instrument, everything you play has a role. And the drums are the foundation. The drums and the bass. The drums and the bass. And the drums and the bass, their job is to lay a foundation and a groove for the melody to really drive the song. And so you can feel the song. If you putting some trap drums in there, it doesn't give you the foundation. Shit like hear the same drum. It's very thin. It doesn't lay a it's just it's like the music is. I think that the industry brings in trap drums on purpose, honestly. I think they bring us trap drums on purpose. Because that's exactly what it does. It takes away the depth. When you don't have the drums and the bass working together. The drums are supposed to provide a backbeat that undergirds the rest of the song. Let me give you another example. This is a great backbeat right here. Barry White. It's a groove. It's a straight groove. You see how it's just it just that's what R&B drums do. They're the foundation. They undergird a song that's moving forward versus see that 808 when you have them trap drums, now the 808 takes all of the melody. Versus you don't have those horns and those strings. You don't have the depth. R&B needs this for depth.
They make them seem so warm.
See the difference when the strings are taking over the mid-range melody versus the 808? An 808 take over the melody. It's just it ain't no love in this. There's no love in that. That's a distorted. That 808 is distorted. It's not. It's not. It's distorted. It's not. You know. Versus some good old Harvey Mason on drum with Minnie Riperton. Let me see here. Where drums come in? Harvey Mason on drums. See how that's Harvey Mason on drums. You see how what he means by less is more? You don't need them busy ass trap drums. Now this is one of my favorite drum performances. This James Gasson on drums I hear with Marvin Gaye. This here. Hear that? Versus. Hear the difference? Less is more. 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 Music is a team sport, man. Less is more. That's what he means by less is more. And I just goddamn. Damn it, I just lost the tab. I just lost the tab that I was on. I want to go back to that video. But damn it. But do y'all see what I mean? The screen that I had open is goddamn closed. Let's see, was that on Instagram I had that? Here we go. All right, I found it. Oh, it's telling me that I can't get back into that page. What the hell? Oh, it's saying, okay, I don't know what's going on. Damn it. I can't get back to that page. Here it is.
Nights do not be for
The albums that have been coming out have been like
real R&B heads. Those R&B nights are for people that like to listen to the same top 20 R&B songs, and that's it.
Okay, no, I got through it. I got through it all. But yeah, but you see what they mean by like, it's really good to see that Gen Z thirsting for real R&B because R&B is the mother genre. It's the parent genre. All the music we listen to now is R&B. All of it. All of it's R&B. Yeah, donate to my foundation, the Black American Music Family Tree Historical Foundation. Make sure y'all click on the fundraiser tab. Y'all donate to my foundation where I spread the knowledge of music history. Appreciate that, Dream Being Queen. And if you want to know more, join my Patreon. On Patreon, I really go deeper with the music. Because you can't really play music all the way over here on YouTube. Yeah, the Marvin Gaye songs are dope. Patreon, it's a lot. I have, and I'm telling you right now, if you join my Patreon, understand, my Patreon is a university. I don't post on Patreon every day. Don't come on Patreon thinking you about to get a whole bunch of new shit. No, you're not. What you do have is an archive of everything that I talk about here that's much, much further in depth with music information. Now I do a music university every Sunday. Well, 3 out of 4 Sundays a month we do music university. where I go real in depth with the music history. 3 out of 4 Saturdays a month we do readings, and starting tomorrow, 3 out of 4 Tuesdays a month, we're going to start breaking down this book, Weird Scenes in the Canyon, the book club, on how the alphabet agencies used music to stop people from protesting the Vietnam War, and how those tactics are used even now in music. The alphabet agencies using musicians to mess up good music and good movements. And so tomorrow we start our book club right here on Patreon. All right. If you join my Patreon now and watched it every day, it would be about a year before you're caught up. So yeah, that's how much stuff is on my Patreon. And I have things now starting to get organized into collections. So go to the collections tab first. The destruction of R&B, the destruction of music series that I did. If you're on the music university series, we're going deeper into R&B right now. So go ahead and do that. So that's what I would love to have y'all doing. But so you see it now, the destruction of R&B. And mind you, it took decades for the power of R&B to be stripped away. You gotta realize, by the 90s, they're already 20 years into stripping R&B of its power. By the time you get to 94, 95, and mind you, 94, 95, R&B was still a bigger genre than hip hop. By 94, 95, we're already a quarter century into the folks stripping it up. Okay, y'all want to call in? All right, okay, I'm not going to do long calls, but I'll take some calls. C. Diggs said somebody trying to call in. Okay, let me open the phone line up. 323-705-5150. Y'all got something y'all want to say real quick? Call in. 323-705-5150. Yeah. They put R. Kelly in jail for you notice I don't really talk about R. Kelly much because I never did like what I saw it with the shit he was doing back in the 90s when he and Aaliyah dropped Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. If you didn't know what was going on back then, you was just fooling yourself. But R. Kelly is one of the legends. He's most definitely one of the legends. And, that's why I remember a lot of the legends, they tried to put Michael Jackson in jail. They put Chuck Berry in jail. Remember Chuck Berry, the father of rock and roll, got put in prison too. They always put niggas in jail for something that white boys do on a random Tuesday. What's up, Carter? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Hey, brother, how you doing? Is different.
Hey, you kind of mumbled, my brother. I couldn't. Say that again. I couldn't hear you.
I said, hey, brother, how you doing? It's different.
Oh, what's up, man? Make sure you sit up, man. It sounds like you laying in the dark right now with some incense burning.
Nah. But the thing you said about R&B is true. It's not the same no more. It don't have like the soul. It don't have the oomph like it used to. And plus, like the thing you mentioned about as far as the 808 driving the beat, I feel like a lot of people do need to bring back more instrumentation. And if they want to use something similar to the 808, I feel like they need to use that bass guitar.
Yeah, just put
like the bass guitar can definitely bring that same type of style, but it's better because you can manipulate the sound better, especially when somebody playing it as an instrument. Because the music definitely did die down, but it's a lot of people that's inside it's like the main problem is it's basically a lot of outsiders that's in our like culture, and that's the problem. It's a lot of outsiders, and it's a lot of people who don't have no business doing what we doing because they move by a different rhythm, and that's not a bad thing. But we don't have our own platform no more. It's being shared by everybody else, and it's a lot of us that do still like that music. It's like, and it's even some of us that are still doing that type of music. But the problem is that we're not getting no recognition at all. Like we put stuff online, we do other stuff, but we're not really getting that push like we used to. They getting all these outsiders and all these other groups out there. Like because there's some people like the guy who made the song Return of the Mac. He sound good and all that stuff, but it's like it's a dime of a dozen of them. It's not a lot of them like Poetry and all them. But it's a whole lot of us that's still doing it. It's a lot of us that still sing like we in church, but we're not getting recognized. We really not. Like we're not getting pushed out there. And like when it comes to the online thing, a lot of that's not getting pushed neither. It's the same thing with hip hop. A lot of the real hip hop, like I think I sung you this dude. He from like Houston. Like he's a dope rapper, but he's not put on. Like he's on the same level to me as Kendrick. Like he's that good of a rapper, but he's not getting pushed. Like they pushing all this garbage,
and that, but like
and
that,
it's just watering
and
everything down.
I hear you say I don't want to keep going over it over again because like it's been that way for since there's been a 2 in front of the year. You know what I mean? They stopped pushing real. The last time they said they pushed real artists was there was a 19. The year started with a 19, not with a 2. So it's just that we know that's the issue. We just got to find creative ways to get out there. You know, getting the music in movies, getting it attached to product,
to be honest with
and doing things like that, and finding other ways to get it out there. Because no, that's status quo, and it's been like that for about two generations now of artists.
I feel like we need an app that kind of like show actual music, like it's something that's kind of similar to SoundCloud. Yeah, but we need something that can really push where we have more control over it because these platforms we ain't got control over it like that.
Those apps are all over the place. The question is, how do you get those apps in front of people? What you got to understand is this: once people aggregate to apps, people are aggregated on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. That's where people are aggregated. You got to find a way to get people there by hook or by crook. You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to sound short. It's just that I'm done. I don't really like having what we need to do conversations because we all know what it is. But this world comes down to big bank take little bank, and even when little stuff like that, like SoundCloud, all those platforms they've all gotten bought up by the majors. You got to figure it out where people are, unless you got $1 billion to push. You see them, all them rich people on Blue Sky. When Elon Musk bought Twitter, and all them rich people went to Blue Sky. Look at it, Blue Sky ain't shit. Because at the end of the day, that's not where people are gonna be aggregated. Threads ain't shit, and Zuckerberg got trillions of dollars. You got to figure out a way to get people where they are, because the conversations that we have about what we need to do, those are fruitless, because even with the greatest of all ideas, none of us, I ain't got $100 million. Do you?
That
mean the conversation ain't going nowhere, my brother. You feel me? Unless you got $100 million to back what you think need to happen, it ain't happening. So just figure it out where people are. All right.
I figure out that part, but as far as with apps, like it's for free. You can make it for free when it comes to apps.
Then you gotta figure. You're gonna have to have $1 trillion to market the motherfucker. Then
that's true too.
Either way it go, if you ain't got $1 trillion to do something with it, it ain't happening. All right. But thanks for giving us a call.
Yeah. Listen. All right, dog.
Salute to my brother, but hey, I am very, very, very short on what we need to do. Have conversations. We all know what we need to. We all know what needs to happen. But we live in a world. If you ain't got $1 trillion to make it happen, it ain't happening. So you're gonna have to make it happen where people are, by hook or by crook. We all know I should do a show one day on what we all know what we need to do. We all know. Here's the things we all. I'm taking this call first. What's up, Carl? What's your name? Where you calling from?
AGC out of Houston.
What's on your mind, brother?
Yeah, so I got three things real quick. When you were talking about the simplification of the sound of the raps nowadays, I was remembering.
Are you on a Bluetooth?
The New Jack Swing sound.
Are you on a Bluetooth or speaker?
No. No. Can you hear me better now?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So when you were talking about the simplification of the rap sounds, now I was thinking of how the Jizza, when he was called the Genius, had a New Jack Swing sound, and he had a song called "Girl Come Do Me." Came out in '91, and there's really less sound stage with that, so it's gonna give that full sound that we were used to. And then I personally, when you were talking about Ralph Tresvant, I always liked his intro rap and the insertion rap in his Stone Cold Gentleman song. That it was cheesy good, you know, one of those songs that were fun to listen to. But the question I have for you is, David Porter, "The Masquerade Is Over," when we talk about less is more, that song that was sampled in the Who Shot You, I always thought that that simplification, but when you were talking about the less is more example, I wonder if you think that was a good example.
I forgot the song. Who Shot You?
The one that Biggie did, and they sampled that piano, and it comes from that David Porter, "The Masquerade Is Over."
You mean David Porter from Memphis, from Stax Records?
Yeah.
David Porter, he went to high school with Maurice White. Let me, because it's not coming to me right now. I mean, let me see here. Is it?
"The Masquerade Is Over."
Let me see here, the man, because it's not coming to me right now. Let me see here.
As we proceed.
Which part?
Bleak hard to creep them Brooklyn streets. It's on.
You mean the organ?
The whole song, but when you have that piano that they lifted out in that breakdown, but the whole song is an example, in my opinion, of when you were describing less is more.
Yeah. Well, you having that simple part. You mean like? Oh yeah. You mean that part right there with the piano?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's just
that breakdown.
Having that space, having that feeling. That's something that was a principle that Count Basie really drove home in music. With the big band, he had this big ass, because it goes like before. Basie would tell you that the Basie orchestra was 30 men deep, and he always found a way to play. Basie was a minimalist, and always talked about playing the least to have everything else work and shine, and that's how music is overall. So yeah, I can definitely see that example with that song right there by David Porter, because he also was somebody who learned a lot from that Count Basie sound. But yeah, I hear what you saying.
Okay. That was it.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for giving us a call. Less is always more in music. But let's go back to I'm gonna do a show on one day on what we all know what we need to do. That's going to be a show one day. We all know we need to come together. That's number one. I'm gonna do a show on everything that we know we need to do, but it ain't happening. Gotta figure it out. We need to come together. We know we need to get our own hotels and our own manufacturing businesses. We know that. We know that we all need to buy up the block and own the stores in our neighborhood. We all know that. We all know that we need to get off of Twitter and get our own social media app. We know that. But we're gonna have to have a real conversation on, once we all figure out what we all need to do, If the next conversation isn't an action plan on getting the money to make it happen, then it's not a real conversation. What's up, Carl? What's the name? Where you calling from?
Scotty Jenkins, Cleveland 216.
Scotty, what's on your mind, my brother?
Man, driving down this highway, getting that bread.
Oh yeah, you out there
Man,
making that bread.
I didn't want to move too far away from the conversation. I just saw that you was on, so I've been listening for about 10 minutes. But I just wanted to ask you a question. I caught a documentary this weekend when I was off, and it was on Stacks. It was on HBO, and I was like, I didn't even know this documentary even existed. Because I originally started off watching something else, but then it went to Stacks. And
you went to the one that Questlove did?
I don't know if Questlove did he do? I'm not sure. I know it was on HBO.
Yeah, probably more recent one because it's two of them. The one that Questlove did was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay, I think that it may be, and I didn't get to finish it. I left off right when they started getting into a black why am I blanking on my Isaac Hayes? Right as Isaac Hayes started taking off, I knew nothing about all of that.
And there's actually a better Stacks documentary that's on YouTube that goes even more in depth with a lot of that stuff. What were you about to say about Isaac? I cut you off. What were you about to say about Isaac Hayes?
No, I was saying talk to me about what should I search Stacks documentary or on YouTube?
Yeah, because they pulled a lot of the B-roll, a lot of the footage from the one with Questlove was from the original documentary that they did like back in 2001 when the original owners were still alive. But Stacks. I remember talking to my father. That documentary is one of the last documentaries I saw of my father-in-law before he got all the way sick. And he was telling me that when he was at Motown, people like he said we would have never admitted it in the 60s and the 70s. He said, but Stacks was on Motown's ass, and everybody at Motown knew it. He said, but Motown. He said Motown, we'd all play it cool because we was Motown. Everybody, he said, but everyone at Motown was looking at Stacks, and everybody at Stacks was looking at us. He said that straight out.
And I thought that. Now, again, as I'm watching this, I'm like, this is around the same time as Motown. I wonder what kind of, were they looking at numbers? I mean, this is just what I'm thinking as I'm watching it. But it's the fact that you said that, because I was thinking that, I'm like, I wonder if they looking at each other like, hey, man.
See, here's the thing. It's two different philosophies. The reason why they both exist at the same time and being in competition is because when you listen to go back and listen to Stacks, especially when you're dealing with the pre-Isaac Hayes and David Porter, when you're dealing when you're dealing with the time the original Bark Hayes band and Sam Cooke and not Sam Cooke, Otis Redding and all them. Otis Redding. What you hear is when you're listening to Stacks is more regressive, meaning it's like the South. The South. And regressive, not in the offensive term that you easily offended motherfuckers out there. Regressive in the from the point of view of holding things back in tradition. Stacks was about keeping the 50s and the 60s, the traditional R&B sound that got established in the early 60s and in the 50s. Stacks was more about keeping that 50s R&B sound, but bringing it up into modern times. Modern times meaning 1966, 67, 68. Meaning let's take this traditional R&B with the traditional grooves and let's just bring it to now. Versus Motown. Motown was not about the past. Motown was all about the future. Motown was about the sound of young America, the sound of young America. Motown was about making black artists crossover. Motown was about finding the newest, most interesting, futuristic thing. So those were the two competing philosophies. Motown was the future, Stacks was the past. And it was like Stacks was keeping R&B sort of grounded in its original form when Motown was pushing R&B off into something it had never seen before.
Now, growing up in Cleveland, I've always, obviously, Motown was always like, I had no idea about Philadelphia International. I had no idea about Stax. But as I'm growing up in a household where vinyl records were a thing that was played, hell, I even got my ass whooped on the vinyl record. We had the floor model TV with the record player that was inside the floor model. And I remember as a kid watching like Yo MC Rap. I watched something, so I took a vinyl and I started scratching. My grandmother walked in the house and saw me scratching. I never scratched another vinyl day. I left that alone, got my ass whooped. But growing up, it was always Motown, Motown, Motown. And as I discovered you started bringing me into Philadelphia International. And the whole time I've been listening to Philadelphia International, especially by coming from Cleveland. My man, the father and son tandem.
OJ's.
And then now Stax Records with Otis Redding. And I'm like, okay, well, how come I didn't hear about these not groups. I didn't hear about these area. I didn't hear about this industry, but I would always hear about Motown.
Let me tell you why.
And so,
now go ahead. You want to finish? Go ahead.
All right. No, that was I got quiet. Go ahead.
I'll tell you why. Because Motown marketed itself. Motown didn't wait on them, but Berry Gordy always had a camera around. Berry Gordy was a master marketer, and so when you see those Motown documentaries, Motown did a better job than anybody else of marketing itself. That's why. I remember watching Motown documentaries with my dad back in the 80s, and back in the 80s, we had Motown, they had shows like Motown 25, Motown celebrated itself, and Berry Gordy always had that camera around. I remember me and my dad sitting with my dad when I was 5, 6 years old, watching documentaries on the Four Tops and the Temptations and the rivalry. So all those documentaries you see, the reason why you see that is because Motown took it upon itself to document itself, and the other ones didn't necessarily do that till later.
And I think that's actually pretty dope because, like you say, you got to tell your own story.
You got to tell your own story.
I'm gonna land my plane with this because I don't want to take up too much more time. But my original, when I sat down in my man cave, I said, man, I want to catch this Earth, Wind, and Fire documentary. And after that was over, which I thought that was actually pretty dope. But I'm also kind of like, how y'all saying y'all the first to be on the stage doing all this other stuff when Parliament Funkadelics was already doing that? But I was a little controversial for me.
No,
then the very next thing,
it's not about either or. They were doing it at the exact same time.
Okay.
And then here's the thing: Parliament and Earth. You got to see Parliament, Funkadelic, and Earth and Fire as two sides of the same coin. Parliament, Funkadelic did it with drugs. Earth and Fire did it without drugs. They both were highly spiritual. They both were very connected to spirituality and to Africa. Now they'll talk about the Africa part, but bigger than Africa, they both were connected to more metaphysical and spiritual. And they pushed and pulled each other. It was Parliament Funkadelic that cleaned Earth and Fire's clock, that made Earth and Fire rehearse to get as good as Parliament. At first, originally, Earth and Fire was chasing Parliament Funkadelic. And then by the time you get to the end of the 70s, everybody's chasing Earth and Fire. But Maurice White, it was really Earth and Fire started before the Mothership. The Mothership came in 77. Earth and Fire was doing magic tricks in 75. And I only noticed because one of my music mentors was with Earth and Fire. And they really didn't even go into depth what Earth and Fire did to change this arena shows, period, stage plays, period. And they would have the drums. They would have Fred White flipping and playing the drums upside down. They would have disappearing acts. They would have they had David Copperfield was one of the guys that put their magic shows together. So they kind of both Earth and Fire and Parliament were in competition with each other when it came to those massive stage shows.
Hey, they had it going on. But I'm gonna finish that last episode of Stack, and then I'm gonna start that Luther documentary.
Yeah, watch that. That's another good one. All right, man, have a good one. Yeah, they were Earth and Fire and Parliament were doing it at the same time. Yeah. Yeah, man. What about Kool and the Gang? Kool and the Gang was a good. They were a great band too. But everybody was chasing Earth and the Fire and Parliament Funkadelic. They were the standard. It was Earth and Fire and Parliament Funkadelic. They were the standard bearers. Everyone else was getting in where they fit in. Support the Black American Music Family Tree Historical Foundation and get into this article that I wrote. I really want y'all to get into this article and read it. Read this article. Make sure y'all read this. The history of R&B. Y'all want to go? Y'all want to know a breakdown of what R&B is, how it got built up, and how R&B spread across the world? Read this. We're going to be going through this for a while, and then we're going to go through what makes R&B strong, what makes R&B great, and then we're going to do one on how they destroyed R&B. But do this, and also on Substack. On Substack, we are each one of these sections go a lot deeper on Substack. I already have part 1 out on Substack, but each one of these parts that I have here, part 1, part 2, part 3, they have much deeper versions on Substack. All right. Yeah, mind you, Jackson 5 grew up in the era, right? That's how I know the Jackson 5 was great. They grew up in the greatest era of all time in the kind of music. All right, y'all. Thank y'all again for listening. We out.